Canadian Elite Basketball League action is coming to you live from Saskatoon. Tonight, the Edmonton Stingers pay their first visit to Merlis Belsher Place to take on the Saskatoon Mamba. Hello everyone, I'm Ryan Flaherty alongside Eric Magdans. Katrin Hodson will join us in just a few moments. It has been an up and down season for the two teams squaring off here tonight, but they are both coming off big road wins over the weekend that gave them some very much needed breathing room in the Western Conference playoff race. However, the Edmonton Stingers can actually overtake the Mamba for third place if they can secure the win here tonight at the Snake Pit. They can also take the season series. The Mamba certainly don't want that to happen. It does set up what should be a lot of fun here tonight, Eric.
That's right, Ryan. As we enter the final stretch of the season, teams are looking to set themselves up for the playoff run. Both of these teams have bolstered their lineup with some familiar faces returning from NBA Summer League, as well as some key additions being added to the lineup. Moving forward for tonight, it's a contrast of styles with the Edmonton Stingers looking to control the up-tempo offense of the Saskatoon Mamba. But as you mentioned, we can't look past tonight because it could have some key implications in future playoff positioning. Absolutely,
and as Eric alluded to, there are a couple of changes, especially on the side of the Mamba. With more on that, let's send it over to Katrin Hodson.
Well, after missing 4 games, Jalen Williams has returned from the NBA Summer League just in time for what should be a very exciting run for the Mamba as they look to secure a playoff spot. I spoke to him this morning. He said it was a very intense 4 weeks, but that he's happy to be back. He's ready to go. The Mamba have also added another player to their roster with Damari Monsanto. Coach Fox has confirmed that he will play tonight. He too coming off a stint with the Summer League with the Washington Wizards. On the Stingers side of things, they have signed Kendrick Ray, but he is unavailable this evening. Like you said, Ryan, both of these teams neck and neck, both coming off big wins, and both chasing those playoff spots. It should be a very exciting game tonight here at Merlis Belsher Place. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Yes, setting the scene here and not getting too far ahead, but the Mamba, if they can pull out the win tonight, they'll have a chance to clinch a playoff spot here on home floor in a couple of nights when the Brampton Honey Badgers come to town. So that's at stake. Let's take a look at the team stats for tonight's game. This is the third meeting of the season between these two clubs, and yes, the Stingers took the first two in a home-and-home sweep about a month or so ago, both having no trouble scoring the basketball and shooting it at very similar, in fact, the same rates, both from the field and from the free throw line. The biggest difference, of course, is from beyond the arc. The Mamba coming off a white-hot shooting effort in that department on Sunday against the Calgary Surge. All right, Katrin Hodson is now standing by with Mamba head coach Isaiah Fox.
Really seizing those opportunities, those moments that move the dial and make a difference in a game. Your team did an incredible job of that in Calgary. How do you hope to see that play out tonight?
Well, we just got to continue to build and get better. And obviously this is a big game. This is an opportunity to seize the moment, seize the season. But we're trying to make it about us, about getting better, about getting it one possession at a time, maybe taking the weight off the game a little bit. But there's no doubt all of us coaches and all the players know how important this game is.
Edmonton is strong offensively. They're strong in the paint. What's your strategy tonight defensively to disrupt that, to contain them?
Well, we're going to go a lot of zone today. We're going to make sure we switch up our defenses. We'll be switching a bunch. And, listen, we feel like even in a man, if we're in our gaps and if we're communicating, we can take away some of their points in the paint. And then obviously we got to rebound the basketball.
All right, Jalen Williams back on the court. What do you hope his role is tonight?
Yeah, do what he does. You know, he's a good spacer, good shooter, big-time athlete in this league. We want him to just be himself. We know he was gone for a little bit, but he can fit right in what we do.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck in the first half.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Ryan.
Thank you, Katrin. And Coach Isaiah Fox says, yes, the Mamba surpassing last year's win total with their victory on Sunday, now trying to get into the playoffs. Tip-off is just a few moments away. We'll step out and be back with the beginning of the action. You're watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
Hello, Canada. Welcome to a new CEBL season.
It's been amazing, Canada basketball, to put that platform and give guys an out.
The crowds were bigger. The players got better. The quality of the game got better.
You gotta love it, Canadian Goose.
Fasten your seatbelt tonight because we're going to have some high energy and some high flying stuff.
This is a trail. This is the real. It's all that I gotta say. I'm in my zone.
No shortage of emotion, no shortage of intensity as anticipated.
Sliding away. What a block from behind.
You don't just fuel your body, you fuel your drive. We're not here to preach hustle. We're here for the ones who show up. You know who you are. The moms who make mornings feel like magic. The runners lacing up before the scroll. The dreamers writing it down before it's real. And we're here for you. Real fruit, real fuel. Booster Juice. Fuel for what's next.
What keeps me going? Under the heat of the sun, or in the heat of the moment. When climbing for even one more second seems like too much. Whether you're reaching for your goal or busy setting new ones, everyone hits their limit, but that limit has a reset. Scientifically formulated to hydrate faster in the moments that matter. Electrolyte, instant hydration.
Back inside the Snake Pit here in Saskatoon as the Saskatoon Mamba gets set to take on the Edmonton Stingers. Let's get right into the keys to the game presented by CDIC. Eric, you've identified some keys for both teams. Let's start with the visiting Stingers.
Yeah, keys for the Stingers tonight. Absolutely control the tempo. The Mamba love to play with pace. They want to get up and down the floor. The Stingers, much more deliberate in their style of play. They're going to want to control that tempo and then guard the three. Again, the Mamba, best shooting percentage from three and make the most threes in the entire CEBL. It's going to be important to get out, control the three-point line if you're the Stingers. And finally, share the rock. When the Stingers are moving the ball, when they're sharing it with one another, that's when they're at their best.
All right, let's turn our attention to the home team, the Mamba. Eric, what are their keys to the game presented by CDIC?
It starts right off with playing with pace. The Mamba love to get up and down the floor, especially getting out on that offensive end, and that's how they get those threes. Out of transition is the most important way for them. The only way that's hurt them this year is when they don't take care of the basketball, and the Stingers are great playing off of turnovers and scoring. So limiting that and making sure that they're taking care of the basketball is going to be very important. And finally, active hands. The Mamba have the fewest number of steals in the entire CEBL. They need to make sure they're in their gaps, like Coach Fox was talking about, having active hands and try to get out in transition once you get that steal.
Always some good things to watch for here as these teams know each other well by this point in this season. We are moments away from tip-off, so let's take a look at the starting lineups. The Edmonton Stingers with 3 Canadians in their starting 5, Tate Donald, Emmanuel Bandumel, and Isaac Jack, alongside the captain, Nick Hornsby, and the longtime CEBL vet, Scotty Lindsay. For the Mamba, it's Devontae Bandu and Jaden Bediako as the homegrown members of that starting 5, alongside Trey Townsend, Tavian Dunn-Martin, fresh off his CEBL career high performance against Calgary, and Jameer Chaplin rounds out the starting 5. All right, Eric, looking at our players to watch from each team, let's start with Boz Davis Jr. from the visiting Stingers, a big weapon off the bench.
Yeah, Boz Davis Jr., a guy who's a great athlete, can get downhill and finish at the rim, has also started shooting the ball well from late. And somebody the Mamba will know well. He hits both target time winners against the Mamba to seal the victory, and he has 4 on the season. So as the clock ticks down and we get later in the game, it's going to be really important that the Mamba know where he is, because he's looking to score at all times.
And as for the Mamba, I just mentioned it, after 34 points on Sunday, it's Tavian Dunn-Martin, your player to watch for Saskatoon.
Yeah, and TDM's had a bit of an up and down year scoring-wise, but has been finding his groove as of late. Shot 8 of 10 from 3 in that last game with his mom in the crowd, and she's here again tonight, so hopefully that keeps going for him.
Yeah, Edmonton head coach Jordan Baker was saying, it's too bad she wasn't one and done, because that seemed to be the special recipe there for Tavian Dunn-Martin with that massive game, tying his career high for 3-pointers in a game. He's also on the verge of some franchise history in that department. We'll get to that as this game goes on here this evening. We're just about set to go. The opening tip-off as always, is presented by Spalding, the official game ball of the CEBL Round 3 between the Mamba and the Stingers. And a critical matchup for both teams. We're up and underway here on a Tuesday night in Toontown. Glad to have you on board. Ryan Flaherty, Eric Magdans, Katrin Hodson here to bring you this one. Tavian Dunmartin with Trey Townsend, open look for three to open things up, but he couldn't get that one to drop. Loose ball secured by Donald, and here's Hornsby finding Isaac Jack on the run. He'll pick up the bucket and the foul. And Jameer Chaplin whistled for that one, and Isaac Jack will go to the line for a three-point play.
Yeah, and that's not quite a turnover there for the Mamba, but an offensive rebound that kind of goes astray. Same sort of event and same sort of transition opportunity there for the Stingers.
But Jack, no good on the free throw. And now Tavian Dunmartin. Incredible shooting performance in Calgary the other night. Kicks it to Chaplin. Guarded by Bandamel, back outside for TDM. Shot clock winding down, and Mamba are going to get bailed out by the whistle here as Scotty Lindsay will be called for that foul.
Foul number 20, Scotty Lindsay, that's his first. That'll send TDM to the line for 3 tries.
Late arrival for the Stingers today, as they did not do a morning shoot around here. They didn't arrive in Saskatoon until mid-afternoon. Scotty Lindsay, though, he traveled on his own, and he put up shots in the gym this morning.
Well, and Scotty's familiar with Saskatoon, as he spent 2 seasons here, actually, playing alongside me. One of my favorite players I got to coach, a guy who can absolutely shoot the ball and has come back from some major knee injuries. It's great to see him back on the court.
Dunmartin makes 1 of 2, an early 2-1 lead. Our officials tonight are led by crew chief Chris Brischuk, the umpires Neil Donnelly and Matt Fidelic, as the pass off the hands of Lindsay and out of bounds. A turnover will give the ball back to Saskatoon.
And as a coach, you never love turnovers, but those dead ball turnovers where you can get back and set your defense, not such a terrible one here for the Stingers as they're looking to try to contain Jameer Chaplin, but he gets to the rim.
Chaplin with the first field goal of the game for the Mamba, gives them an early 1-point lead. Hornsby doubled at the top of the key, open look for Lindsay. He's lethal from there. Scotty Lindsay, you cannot give him that kind of time and space. Looking for an answer is Bandu, off back iron, but Chaplin secures the offensive rebound. Townsend now. Behind the back dribble. Can't find his shot. Bediako, though, wins the board battle and puts it up and in.
Love to see that effort from Jaden right off the start there. He fought for that, got control of it, went right back at the rim.
Coming off a 17-point effort in Sunday's win over Calgary. Bandamel, high pass. Well done by Hornsby just to secure it. Shot clock down to 6 seconds. Hornsby mid-range, too strong. Rebound goes to Devontae Bandu. Donald in his hip pocket, forces a miss. And Hornsby on the glass. Here are 3-on-1 for the Stingers. Hornsby, no. Bandamel, yes.
And that's the transition opportunities that the Mamba have to look to minimize here tonight. When Hornsby gets a rebound, he's going to look to push in transition.
Chaplin now. The handoff, 3-point try, TDM, no. Another rebound for Hornsby, but Tavian Dunmartin races back. Lindsay wanted a foul, none called. Chaplin now, show and go, gives it to Bediako. And Jaden Bediako will head to the free throw line. I think almost everyone on the floor thought Chaplin was going to take that up. I sure did, but a little extra pass, and Bediako will get the chance for a couple free throws here.
Yeah, you got to love how the Mamba so far have been sharing the rock offensively, and they've been able to get offensive rebounds by battling on the boards.
This Western Conference game is presented by Cal Tire, and What a battle down the stretch here. Edmonton, Saskatoon jockeying for position. Vancouver and Winnipeg are also battling for top spot in the conference. Bediako, though, empty trip there.
Yeah, we were learning tonight that free throws are not free.
They're expensive here early in this game. Lindsay off balance on the drive, but Jack is there to clean it up. Stingers with an early 4-point lead, 3.5 minutes gone, first quarter. Dunmartin calling for a high screen. Now on the switch, it's Bandamel guarding the point guard. Bounce pass for Bediako, kick out, extra dish to the corner. Chaplin, no on the three. Looks like Bediako might be called for a loose ball foul here. Indeed he is.
Another great possession, though, for the Mamba. Good little short roll, hit right to Bediako, and he makes a great decision with Trey Townsend making the extra pass for the wide open shot in the corner. That's great basketball, and the Mamba have to continue to do that tonight.
Isaiah Fox was singing the praises of Jaden Bediako this morning, said he thought he had an excellent game in the win over Calgary. Offensively, in particular, they were really able to get him going inside. Bandamel now driving, and Emmanuel Bandamel with a couple early buckets. And the Stingers lead it by 6. Donald trying to sell a foul. Chaplin hoists one up and hits. And Jameer Chaplin, who didn't play in the first meeting between these teams, had just 2 points in the second. Has already surpassed that total here with 5 early points for the Mamba.
That's the second foul right there on Jameer Chaplin. It's quick 2 fouls. He's going to take a quick sub here. We see the return of Jalen Williams.
And Jalen, as you mentioned, Jalen Williams with his reappearance here after a 4-game absence. And we're getting our first look now at Damari Monsanto, the latest addition to this Mamba lineup. Hornsby guarded by Williams. Dumps it off Jack. And Isaac Jack benefiting in the paint here early on.
Yeah, Hornsby was so key in those first 2 victories for the Stingers, mostly from his scoring. But tonight, he's getting other people involved. He's got 2 early assists. He's really getting the ball moving.
Here's Monsanto. First attempt, no good. Bediako can't quite secure the rebound. Lindsay has it for Edmonton. Hesitation move, now throws it back out, but with no destination in mind, and that is an over and backcourt violation there against the Stingers. Scan the QR code for your chance to win the ultimate CEBL finals trip, courtesy of redtag.ca. You could score round-trip flights, a 2-night hotel stay, and courtside seats to the CEBL finals. Visit cebl.ca/redtag for more details. Jalen Williams, first shot, no good. TDM with the steal. His second here in the first quarter. Open look, Monsanto for 3. Welcome to Saskatoon, Damari Monsanto.
Something the Mamba were missing when Jalen Williams was gone is we just got a whole lot smaller on the wing. The addition of Monsanto and the return of Jalen Williams creates a whole bunch of lineup possibilities here for the Mamba.
Well, that shooting practice this morning for Scotty Lindsay seems to be paying off. His second 3 of the opening quarter. Restores the lead to 5. Dunmartin's pass picked off by Jack. Hornsby on the run. Kicks it out to Bandamel, sets his feet, puts it up, and knocks down the 3. And that will prompt a timeout from Isaiah Fox. It's the Stingers who are shooting the 3 well early, and they lead it 19-11 with 4 minutes to play in the opening quarter. You're watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
When Crystal Glass introduced our residential window line this past year, it was essential to manufacture them locally.
Crystal Glass has always been a proudly Canadian company.
We employ Canadians, we serve Canadians, and we are Canadians. So you know our windows are designed and built for our climate.
And since we've been the clear choice for glass for over 75 years, you can trust our quality and service.
Visit one of our over 50 locations across Western Canada or at crystalglass.ca. Financing is now available.
Back inside the snake pit, Swish trying to get the crowd going here as the Mamba face an early 8-point deficit. Well, speaking of 8, that's how many threes Tavian Dunmartin hit in the game on Sunday against Calgary, and he had an extra special supporter in the crowd. She's here again tonight with more on that. Let's send it over to Katrin Hodson.
Well, it appears Mom may be a good luck charm for Tavian Dunmartin, who put up an incredible 34 points last game when she was in the stands. Lucky for Mamba fans, she is here again tonight and will be for the next 3 games. I spoke to him this morning about her arrival, and he really was just beaming, saying, quote, "It's a blessing to have her here. My heart is happy." This is actually the first time in 4 years she's seen him play in person, and the first time she's seen him play pro live. The last time she saw him was when he was in college in Florida. She surprised him, something the Saskatoon Mamba management team helped coordinate this past weekend prior to their game in Calgary. He was doing a photo shoot. He felt a tap on his shoulder, turned around, and got a pretty amazing surprise when his mom was standing there. I asked him how it feels having her here, and he said safe. She's got him no matter what. It just goes to show you it doesn't really matter how old you are. Having your mom there to support you never gets old.
Thanks, Katrin. Wonderful stuff there. And yeah, there's just something extra in the game when you got a parent in the stands. And after such a long time, too. Not since he was playing at Florida Gulf Coast as Tavian Dunmartin had Mom in the building for a game as Jalen Williams launches a 3, coming up short. Tay Donald the other way for Edmonton. Bandamel with a chance for 3, no good. And a box out there at DeAndre Bernard, who we haven't seen in quite some time here for Saskatoon, but getting into the flow tonight for the Mamba. And Bandu hits the 3. And meanwhile, we've also seen Trey King check in for the Stingers. King's first field goal attempt, no good. Rebounded by Saskatoon. Monsanto, pull up 3. Rims, I was gonna say rims out, but he got the friendly hometown bounce that time. Damari Monsanto with a couple of 3s in the opening quarter. King gets position inside and responds with a 2 for the Stingers.
Yeah, I like this little lineup change here by Coach Fox. Wants to increase the tempo, was a little sluggish coming out of the gate here, so goes longer on the wings without a true 5, but a couple guys who can just jump and run and play.
DeAndre Bernard with his first points of the season as he follows that miss to the offensive glass. King now doubled inside. Turnaround shot rolls out, swatted off the rim by Tavian Dunmartin.
Hey, and you like that TDM's effort there. He came back, wasn't necessarily able to corral the rebound, but knocks it out of bounds. Let the Mambas get to this next possession.
Changes on both sides. Trey Townsend back in for Saskatoon, and Jaden Clayton makes his first appearance. And meanwhile, the bench mob checking in for Edmonton, Mason Boursier and Boz Davis Jr., who inbounds it for King. And now Bandamel with the bubblegum kicks tonight. Davis Jr., you know the Mamba are going to be tracking him no matter where he is on the floor. Pulls up and hits his first shot just like that. And the Stingers lead is 4. Williams, free throw line, jumper. Sweet stroke from Jay Will, fresh off that Summer League stint with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Hornsby back to the attack, and Nick Hornsby with that bucket joins the 1,000-point club in the CEBL. Clayton, Mike that Monsanto, with a 3. And how about that first game in the league, and he's already got 3 threes in less than 1 quarter of play. Bandamel gets a clear path to the basket, putting the Stingers up by 3. Back and forth they go.
You can feel this tempo increasing, the pace increasing, the ball movement sharing. That's a good sign for the Mamba.
Townsend with the triple. Knocks it up at 27. Under a minute to play in the quarter, and yes, you're right, things have really picked up here. Davis Jr. off back iron, but an offensive rebound, and that's going to be a traveling call against Boz Davis Jr.
You love to see guys who are early in their debut here making big contributions, both with Jalen Williams, increasing that tempo, and Monsanto with 3 big threes to start.
You want tempo, how about Jaden Clayton? All the way around the bush and puts it in. Cal Tire, proud partner and tire expert of the CEBL. Shop top tire brands and have peace of mind with Cal Tire's price match guarantee. Shop and book at caltire.com. Eric, these teams aren't giving me a chance to get the promos in. There's no time to breathe in this first quarter as Hornsby lays it in. Final 5 seconds, Clayton drive, one more pass, Bernard from the corner! How about that? DeAndre Bernard! Stay ready, kid! And he hits one at the buzzer to put the Mamba on top by 3 after 1.
Yeah, great finish to this quarter and great finish by DeAndre Bernard.
It's a 32-29 lead for Saskatoon after just 10 minutes of play. We've got a barn burner underway in Saskatoon, and we're just getting started. You're watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus. Well, after a frenetic first quarter, it's the Saskatoon Mamba leading the Edmonton Stingers 32-29 as we get set for quarter number 2. And every Mamba player who has seen the floor has scored at least 1 point. And Edmonton, Eric, has also had pretty broad distribution of their scoring too. It's a couple of teams that's really about all the players on the floor. Tough to defend.
Yeah, Coach Fox has to be really happy with the ball movement and pace of play that they really had in that second half of that quarter. But Jordan Baker, I'm sure in that quarter break there, had a good talk with his team about not only controlling the basketball, but making sure that they're getting back into their defensive assignments off of defensive rebounds, because that's leading to transition for the Mamba, and they're taking advantage.
Davis Jr. stripped. Looked like Monsanto got a hand on that basketball. Clayton trapped in the corner, looking for the outlet, but Bernard couldn't reach that pass. And Boursier to Hornsby in transition, hands it off for the gentle flush from Trey King. Tamari Monsanto and Emmanuel Bandumel leading their teams with 9 points apiece in that opening quarter. Clayton now for Monsanto. Why not take another one? That's a miss though. Townsend with the offensive board. In for Bernard, skip past Clayton. Williams now will launch from deep. That takes a friendly bounce as well. And the Mamba, after a couple early misses, starting to find that touch again here. The top three-point shooting team in the league. Looking dangerous from beyond the arc once again. Hornsby doing what Nick Hornsby does, though. Tough bucket inside.
Yeah, the amount of movement that the Mamba have offensively right now is causing the Stingers to really be out of position, both on their defensive assignments, but also on the offensive rebounding. It's creating so many second chance opportunities right now for the Mamba, and that's leading to open threes.
Bernard can't cash that three-point attempt. Boursier the other way. Bandumel to the corner for King. That's good. And the Stingers go back on top by 1. Pace not slowing whatsoever to start this second quarter. Monsanto, no hesitation, but can't cash that one. And Hornsby with the rebound. Boz Davis Jr. for 3. Both of these teams shooting it well from outside in the opening half. Now Williams cut off at the free throw line. Outside for Clayton, another three-pointer. No. There's a rebound for Williams. Clayton from the same spot, recalibrates. Still no. But a foul called on DeAndre Bernard, who thought that was going to go on his former teammate Emmanuel Bandumel, but no such luck for Dre.
And a great first shift here for Dre. Put in a lot of work in the offseason and over the course of this season to get himself ready and keep himself ready. Hasn't seen the floor as much, but you love that you can get that immediate gratification of getting a couple buckets and having a great first shift back.
Yeah, DeAndre Bernard, I said it, stay ready. He really hasn't played. He really only played one game earlier this year, and that was way back in May against the Vancouver Bandits. So talk about waiting for your opportunity to contribute, and he's done that. Boz Davis Jr. with the three-point try, no good. Tavian Dunmartin, Jaden Bediako back in for Saskatoon. Dunmartin wasting no time with a three-point effort, but that won't fall. Davis Jr. right back down the main street, comes up short, but looked like some contact on the arm, and Jaden Clayton will pick up his first foul of the night.
And tonight's been completely a game of runs. Whichever team is getting those defensive rebounds and looking to push has been really successful. And a bit of fool's gold right now for the Mamba is going for these offensive rebounds. They've had some success with it, but when they don't get it, they're giving up that defensive transition.
New Era is the exclusive game uniform partner of the CEBL and all 10 of its teams from coast to coast. Pick up your official replica jerseys now by visiting CEBL.ca. Davis Jr. at the line. Makes good on the second. And it is a 6-point Stingers lead. 41-35, just 3 minutes into the second quarter. Dunmartin guarded up high by Donald. Over to Chaplin, who's back in for Saskatoon. Working on Lindsay, Chaplin, and fouled as he tried to attack the basket.
Edmonton foul number 20, Scotty Lindsay. That's
Scotty Lindsay picking up his second. And now we're going to see another player that we haven't seen in a while for the Mamba. That's Kareem Mane checking in for Jaden Clayton. And you talk about the point in the season we're at here, Eric, and especially with the schedule that this kind of kicks off. In fact, started on Sunday for the Mamba, a real compact final 7 games, including that win on Sunday. And so you got to manage those minutes. You want to get everyone, keep them as fresh as possible down the stretch. So we're seeing Bernard, we're seeing Mane, we're seeing almost everyone who's available here tonight for Saskatoon.
Yeah, and we've talked about guys being away for Summer League. It was also World Cup qualifiers for FIBA. And Kareem Mane had an opportunity to go and represent Senegal for that. And he had a great World Cup qualifier session. Glad to have him back here for the home stretch.
Davis Jr. working on Bediako, pulls up, but the midi won't go. Batted out by Jack. Davis wants a clear out, gives it to Lindsay. Deep three, rattles home. Scotty Lindsay with his third three of the game. And it's a 7-point lead for the Stingers. Chaplin now trying to work his way inside. Battling hard, and he'll go right back to the free throw line where he just made a pair moments ago.
And you can see that Jordan Baker's come into this night with a plan. They're not going to allow TDM to get open, especially once he gives up the ball in the half court. They are face guarding him and making it a 4-on-4 game and saying, you know what, we're going to take our chances with that. So it's nice to see a guy like Jameer be aggressive when he has that opportunity.
Well, you know, Edmonton and Jordan Baker were certainly focused on this Mamba team in the scout, but that shooting performance by Tavian Dunmartin and the rest of the Mamba maybe a little overshadowed on Sunday, of course, as it was a record-setting night for Teddy Allen and the Winnipeg Sea Bears, and so maybe kind of flew under the radar a little bit, but the Mamba set franchise records for field goal percentage and three-point percentage in that game, over 60% in both categories. So Jordan Baker knows what to be mindful of here for his team tonight, as that three-point try won't go. TDM inside, Bediako spinning and puts it up and in. And when Jaden Bediako gets going inside, it can be hard to slow him down. 4-point lead now for Edmonton. A turnover by Donald. Mane waits for the flyby, and Karim Mane gets on the board.
And Coach,
sorry, go ahead, Eric.
Coach Fox talked about switching up defense tonight. This is the second time we've seen a little zone defense. It worked the first time, gave up an open shot, got a turnover in the last possession. Now you can see that the Stingers are a little bit out of sorts.
Tavian Dunmartin is playing his best role as thief tonight. That's another steal, but Chaplin cannot finish it off with the three. Dunmartin nearly stole another one there. He thought it was maybe tipped out by Edmonton, but of course we do not have any sort of review or replay challenge. And we'll get some substitutions here. Or do we have a timeout? Looks like a timeout being called. And in fact, we've got our timeout on the floor here as we pass the midway mark of the second quarter. And the Mamba have pulled back within 2 points. You're watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Gym, YouTube, and CEBL+.
The CDIC was established by the Government of Canada to protect deposits in case of bank failure. Coverage is free and automatic when you bank with a member institution.
Whoa. Thank you. That's my job. So you were saying...
Protecting your deposits, that's what we do.
The CEBL, Canada's Pro Basketball League, and redtag.ca brings Canadian basketball fans a chance to save up to $300 off on vacation bookings all season long with promo code CEBLFans. I wonder how our mascots would spend their time on vacation. Book today with Red Tag and save $300.
redtag.ca.
Back inside the Snake Pit, 4:52 remaining in a high-tempo opening half here in Saskatoon as the Stingers lead it by 2. And we've already seen the newest member of the Mamba stepping up and hitting a few deep shots. With more on Damari Monsanto, let's check in with Katrin Hodson.
Well, Damari is fresh off the NBA Summer League, having spent some time with the Washington Wizards. He has quite a bit of NCAA experience as well with East Tennessee State, Wake Forest, and most recently Texas San Antonio. He's also played 45 games with the G League this past season, averaging 10.6 points per game, 2.8 rebounds, and 43% on the three-pointers. His free throw percentage is 83.3 and 44.6 on field goals. He's definitely a welcome addition for the Mamba, like you said, Ryan, already showing up tonight on the court. Coach Fox said this morning that he's not at all concerned about him jumping into offense. We run a lot of stuff that he should be used to running, said Coach Fox, and it will really just be a matter of getting into the flow with the team, which he seems to be doing quite well so far.
Thank you, Katrin. And yeah, Eric, doesn't really matter what the offense is. Three-point shooting is still three-point shooting. Tamari Monsanto showing his efficiency from that part of the floor early. And Mane with an extra little pass for Jameer Chaplin, who answers that Isaac Jack bucket out of the timeout.
Yeah, one thing the Mamba have been really consistent on this year with all of their roster construction is they like guys who can shoot and are willing to shoot. And as we've seen this season progress, that's been a huge part of how they've chosen to play.
Tie up on that fight for the rebound, and the possession arrow favors the Mamba. Perhaps you're just watching your first CEBL game. In the FIBA rules, we don't have jump balls, so the possession arrow, of course, determines possession on those tie-ups. Tavian Dunmartin up the floor. Boursier got a hand in. Recovered by TDM. Weaving inside and lost the handle, but had some assistance there from Hornsby, who picks up his second foul.
That's a big second foul on Nick Hornsby. He's been doing a little bit of everything tonight. He already has 5 assists, 6 rebounds, and scored a little bit as well. So he's kind of the engine that makes this entire Stingers offense work.
We gotta go back to that first quarter though, because the pace was going so back and forth that I did quickly mention, but worth going back to look at the fact that Nick Hornsby is now past the 1,000 point mark. 14th player in CEBL history to do that, regular season and playoffs combined, and just a real testament to his staying power and his leadership in this league.
Yeah, because scoring might not even be his best attribute. He's probably on that all-time list already for rebounds and for assists. This is just, adding to his legend.
Yeah, top 5 all-time in both those other categories you just mentioned. Hornsby now with the rock. Jumper won't go, rebounded by Monsanto. Tamari Monsanto on the bounce, Bediako. There's that patented Jaden Bediako baby hook. And he knots it up at 46.
Another zone look here. Out of that last timeout, Coach Baker drew up a nice little zone breaker that the Stingers were able to score off of. Oh, they come back to a nice little short roll. Tough when they know it's coming. The Stingers can be really good at it.
Nice floater there by Hornsby. Now Dunmartin, just 1 point so far, and he throws it into the hands of Hornsby. Here's Davis Jr. on the run. No, there's Hornsby on the glass. Filling up the stat sheet again, and that'll be a kick ball off the right leg of Jalen Williams. Well, we mentioned this last week on the broadcast when Winnipeg was in town, but not the worst thing if you're Saskatoon and one of your top scorers is having a quiet night. Last week was Teddy Allen, who had just 4 points in the first half, but Winnipeg was still scoring, and here's Saskatoon with just a point from Tavian Dunmartin, but they still got 46 with 3 minutes to go in the half.
That's been a bit of the story for the Mamba all year. They've had different guys step up in different situations. Every single night, seems like they've got a guy who's willing to become the leading scorer, and credit to all the other guys. They're willing to accept that and make it happen.
Fans, you're going to want to get on this train as we get closer to the playoffs, and you can keep up with everything happening across the league by following at CEB League on all social platforms to stay up to date on stats, storylines, and more for all 10 teams in Canada's Pro Basketball League. Vital way to keep up with this chaotic playoff race in both conferences. We've got sort of two-way battles going in the West, but the East is an absolute gong show 2 through 5. We'll talk more about that in our Red Tag Path to the Playoffs at half, but again, follow on CEB League, or at CEB League on all platforms to keep up to speed. It's changing by the day.
Yeah, I think what you love to see is that every game matters down the stretch. There's not going to be a single one that's just for fun. Every single one's going to have a major impact on future playoff positioning.
It is Mamba ball coming out of this timeout. Edmonton leading it by 2. Pardon me, it is Edmonton basketball, excuse me. The Stingers do lead it by 2. They've led by as many as 8. The Mamba have led by as many as 4 points in this opening half. Stingers came in here and picked up a 7-point victory at SaskTel Center on June 24th, and then a big target scorer time comeback in the rematch 4 days later, and they won that one by 2.
Yeah, and I like that Coach Fox here out of this timeout went back to that lineup that in the first quarter really gave them a push down the stretch.
Boursier chased off the line. Mid-range jumper off the mark. Williams gives it to Townsend. Quickly up for Clayton. Boursier gets over in time. Townsend, little reverse is good. The Oxford, Michigan product coming off a 12-point effort in Sunday's win over Calgary. And Isaiah Fox loved to see the rim attacks that Townsend was able to execute against the Surge.
Yeah, we've really seen his confidence grow throughout the entire season. It started with him hitting some corner threes, and you've seen him grow as a player with that confidence to attack the rim.
Clayton trying to strip the ball, but called for his second foul of the game. Just under 2 minutes to play in the half. Boz Davis Jr. for Jack comes up short, but a foul again. And is this one also on Clayton? Indeed it is, as the two longtime teammates come together on that play. There are now opponents here in the CEBL, but Isaac Jack is having a very nice first half here for Edmonton as his role continues to grow in his first professional season.
Yeah, one of the great things about the CEBL is how connections from previous basketball experiences are sort of reformed and rejuvenated. We've talked a lot about Coach Fox and his Salt Lake City crew that he gets to see throughout the season. But there's also guys from AAU, from club system, from universities along the way that sort of get rekindled back in the pros.
No good on the free throws, though. Jack still with 11 points, despite being 0 for 3 from the stripe. Townsend, turnaround jumper is good, and another young player whose confidence is growing as the season goes on. Davis Jr. now to the perimeter for Donald, gets inside, and a nice spin move in the lane as Donald finishes off the glass. Tied at 50 as we approach the final minute of the half. Williams for 3, no. Rebounded by Hornsby. Already his 8th board of this contest. Donald from deep, no. And the rebound falls into the hands of Damari Monsanto. Townsend, no hesitation, but well short on that 3. And now Hornsby trying to get past Monsanto, who strips it away and then dribbles it off his own foot. So the teams trade turnovers in mere seconds. And now Mane will check in for Clayton, who does have 3 fouls after those 2 quick ones.
And look for the Stingers to try to score quick here to get a 2-for-1 situation to end this second quarter.
And there it is, Hornsby, but it rims out. Got the look they wanted, but no luck at the iron. And now Townsend gives it to Mane. This is a different look for the Mamba. Williams, corner, Townsend, 3, no. Rebounded by Hornsby. Davis Jr. sizing things up, now peels off as Hornsby looks to hold for the last shot. Shot clock is turned off. Donald looks to the bench for instructions. Now moving to his left. Monsanto has to drop off. 3-pointer comes up short. Loose ball on the floor, and that will bring an end to the opening half, and fittingly deadlocked after 20 minutes of exciting action here at Merlis Belsher Place. All even at 50, as we are no closer to finding out who's going to prevail here tonight. And no surprise, team separated by just a half game in the standings. Well, Damari Monsanto introduced himself to the home crowd with 9 first half points, and he is now standing by in our sideline interview with Katrin Hodson.
Game on the court with the Mamba. How are you feeling right now?
Feeling good, man. I'm just coming off like 2 or 3 days from Vegas, so I'm still feeling good. I'm still feeling in game shape.
I know you got here, I think, this morning.
Yes, ma'am. Like 5 a.m.
All right. Well, impressive. I think 9 points on the board in this first half. When I spoke to Coach Fox this morning, he said he had no concerns about you jumping into the offense. How does it feel with the team?
I mean, it feels good. It's a good group of guys, man. Mesh well. First hour meeting them.
Okay, and what are you thinking for the second half? What's your focus going to be?
Try to get a little bit more tighter on the defensive end and just close this game out.
All right, thank you so much. Good luck in the second half. Back to you, Ryan.
Thank you very much, Katrin. And yes, Damari Monsanto, who wasn't even at shoot-around this morning because he had to get his medical done. And so that's the first time we've heard from him here since he arrived in Saskatoon, but he arrives and contributes right away with those 9 first-half points. We've got a 50-all tie at the half. And coming up at the half, we're going to have our CEBL feature on Stingers general manager and head coach Jordan Baker, the architect of Edmonton basketball. We already heard Katrin talking with Damari Monsanto. She'll also speak with Jordan Baker. We'll check out the first half stats and revisit Eric's players to watch. That's all coming up here at halftime. 50-50. Get your lottery tickets while you can. You're watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Gem at YouTube and CEBL Plus.
Center in Edmonton, in the city of champions, and it's over. Baker wins it.
Jordan Baker, head coach, Edmonton, Alberta. Yeah, I mean, this league is never meant for a destination league. You know, a lot of players are using the CEBL as a springboard into other opportunities, whether it's exposure-wise or financially. So, you know, we can't take things personally when players move on to other places. I think we just want to try to do what's best for our organization and our fans, and we try to bring in players that are excited about the opportunity. We have a lot of new players to the CEBL this year, which is fun. A little bit of a learning curve, but obviously, you know, we want to get guys up to speed as soon as possible and have them enjoy their time in Edmonton this summer. It's just the opportunity to represent Edmonton on the national stage. You know, our guys, we try to make sure that they understand you know, the fan base and the community that's behind them and supporting them and buying the tickets so that their salaries can get paid. They need to be respected and honored, and I think being able to have a lot of control of that, both on and off the floor, has been something that's really rewarding for me as an Edmonton native. So yeah, I love being able to sort of be a part of the community and spearhead a lot of basketball initiatives in our city. Yeah, I think the office piece starts with just having a really good team. You know, our front office crew has done a great job this year stepping up, and we've had some changes in the front office, but you know, our core group is together and making sure that we're standing for the right things. In terms of the on-the-court stuff, that's the fun part. So, you know, I have a great coaching staff as well that makes it exciting, and, you know, that long off season, all the work and hours to get ready for May is, you know, it's long, but it's the exciting time now that the fans are back in the building. You know, we try to have high standards here in Edmonton about the type of people that we bring into the organization and what we stand for. So in terms of what I'm proud of, I think it's just trying to represent Edmonton and represent our community and, you know, my family and our organization the right ways through everything that we do, both on the court and off. There's a lot more opportunity, certainly. You know, when you think about club basketball and high school basketball and just the level of competition, the number of kids that are playing and the excitement around the sport, it's great to see the growth of basketball. And I think, you know, the Raptors championship in 2019 had a lot to do with that. I think the growth of the game internationally has had a lot to do with that. But, you know, we're jumping along for the ride with the wave that Canada is seeing with the growth of the game as well. So, yeah, I think, you know, sometimes it's hard. There's a million people trying to, you know, make a buck off the game, and especially off of young players. So for us, we're trying to make it as accessible as possible with our off-season programming, but also try to provide some guidance and mentorship for the younger generation of players. You know, guys that are in high school, guys that are, you know, at U of A or McEwen. Just being able to help them on their journeys, and if some of them end up at the professional level, how do we support them the best we can? Yeah, a lot of fun times at U of A. You know, just building the friendships and relationships. I mean, a lot of the guys that I was teammates with, I'm still friends with now. You know, I think the big part of it, especially at the professional level, was, you know, at the U Sports level, you're not handed hundreds of thousands of dollars like you might be in the NCAA, and things aren't spoon-fed to you. So you learn to deal with some of the challenges that you're going to see when you're pursuing a professional career overseas. You know, like sometimes the facilities aren't what they need to be, sometimes the transportation's not where it should be, but you learn to be resilient, you learn to figure it out, because as special as university basketball is in Canada, sometimes it can be underfunded. So being able to learn a little bit of resilience and build up some character through those experiences has definitely helped me become a better professional at the end of the day.
What keeps me going? Under the heat of the sun or in the heat of the moment. When climbing for even one more second seems like too much. Whether you're reaching for your goal or busy setting new ones, everyone hits their limit, but that limit has a reset. Scientifically formulated to hydrate faster in the moments that matter. Electrolyte, instant hydration.
Score! Big savings on parking at YEG. Use promo code STINGERS to save 20% on airport parking with Jet Set Parking. Affordable parking just minutes from the terminal. Book online at jetsetparking.com/YEG and use code STINGERS to save. Level up your game. Jet Set Parking has partnered with Edmonton International Airport for their new loyalty program, YEG Plus. Jet Set Parking at YEG Plus, a winning way to start your vacation.
Halftime underway here inside Merlis Belsher Place. And yeah, it is literally anyone's game. It's a 50-50 chance at the half here, and that's the score as well. Ryan Flaherty, Eric Magdans with you as we take a look at some of those first half highlights. The scoring pace slowed a little bit in that second quarter, but the actual pace of the game didn't really let up much at all. We've seen plenty of excitement at both ends, and it's really been total team effort on both sides.
Yeah, it's crazy. We've had 17 players score tonight. Only one player's in double figures. It's been team efforts on both sides. And like you said, Ryan, the pace has not slowed down. Yeah, didn't quite make as many shots there in that second quarter, but the pace is going up and down. The guys are moving the basketball, they're sharing the rock, and they're getting out in transition.
Yeah, it's been, and that's tough for teams to defend, right? You know, like some teams have that one main focal point on offense, or maybe two guys, but when you're prepping a scout for a game like this, it's really about defensive discipline in your system and really sticking to your game plan, right?
Yeah, it comes down a lot more to techniques and strategies. Credit to the Stingers. They've done a really good job here in trying to deny access and trying to take TDM out of the game from an offensive perspective. And then the Mamba have sort of counteracted that with trying to switch between man and zone defense and trying to sort of keep the Stingers on their toes offensively.
A bit of a role reversal, too, as we're about to get a look at our first half stats. But, you know, we talked off the top, of course, the Mamba coming off that great shooting performance on Sunday. They're the #1 three-point shooting team in the league. But as you can see here, it is the Stingers, who are middle of the pack, ranked 5th in the CEBL in that department, absolutely shooting the lights out from deep as they went 6 of 11. Not taking a lot, but they're picking the right opportunities. The Mamba, 8 for 26 from downtown, just too shy of their entire total of three-point attempts from Sunday's win over Calgary.
Yeah, it's all about the attempts, and it's that contrast in style of play. The Stingers are really looking to try to attack the basket, share the ball inside. They do a lot of damage from within the paint, and the Mamba love to get it out in transition. They're looking and hunting for that three.
How concerned are you if you're Isaiah Fox and the Mamba with those rebounding numbers?
Yeah, you can't love them. The bigger team here with the Mamba, and you've had a ton of offensive rebound opportunities that you've been able to secure and give yourself some second chance opportunities, but you can't love how many offensive rebound opportunities you've given up, because when you have, it's really come back to hurt you.
Well, should be a very intriguing second half of action. We've still got a little more halftime to come your way, but we'll get to it on the other side of this break. You're watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
All right, sticks in the middle. Can I join you guys? All right, let's go.
Whether it's on the ice or on our app, always play for the fun of the game. Gamble responsibly with Play Alberta.
The CDIC was established by the Government of Canada to protect deposits in case of bank failure. Coverage is free and automatic when you bank with a member institution.
Whoa, thanks.
That's my job.
Protecting your deposits, that's what we do.
You don't just fuel your body, you fuel your drive. We're not here to preach hustle. We're here for the ones who show up. You know who you are. The moms who make mornings feel like magic. The runners lacing up before the scroll. The dreamers writing it down before it's real. And we're here for you. Real fruit, real fuel. Booster Juice. Fuel for what's next.
The CDIC was established by the Government of Canada to protect deposits in case of bank failure. Coverage is free and automatic when you bank with a member institution.
Whoa. Thank you. That's my job. So you were saying?
Protecting your deposits, that's what we do.
At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around with free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
Teams back out on the floor to get ready for second half action. Scotty Lindsay with 9 first half points. Well, let's find out what Edmonton GM and head coach Jordan Baker thought about that opening 20 minutes and what he's looking forward to in the second half. Let's send it over to Katrin Hodson.
All right, Coach. Tight first half, obviously. What do you think your team did well, first of all?
I thought we did a good job of staying true to our concepts. You know, they made a couple of contested shots, a couple of open shots, and, you know, we didn't get panicky on the other end, and we made sure we reestablished ourselves defensively.
All right, so what are the gaps you need to close in that second half?
Yeah, I mean, 9 turnovers, too many, right? We're giving them open opportunities. And then offensively, you know, we want to share the ball a little bit more, get those assist numbers, get some easy ones, and allow us to set our defense.
All right, good luck in the second half. Thanks, Coach. Back to you, Ryan.
Thank you, Katrin. Yes, as Coach Baker alluded to there, 9 first half turnovers. The Mamba with just 4 turnovers in that opening half. A lot of interesting numbers in that first 20 minutes, as we already kind of touched on prior to that last break. But in the meantime, Eric, let's revisit your players to watch. How did they do in that opening half?
Yeah, I think both these guys found ways to be successful, starting with Boz. Not a guy who scored that much, had struggles shooting the ball, but 4 assists. And he did a great job denying TDM the ball. As soon as he gave it up, he made sure it didn't get back there, and that led to TDM only getting 1 point. What I got to give TDM a ton of credit for, though, is he found other ways to be successful. You see the 3 assists on there. What you don't see is 3 steals. He made an impact defensively, getting his active hands, getting his hands on the ball, and when they went to that zone, he really got into those passing lanes.
Yeah, Dunmartin certainly not forcing the issue, although he is 0 for 3 from deep. Those are his only 3 field goal attempts in that first half, so not trying to force things that aren't there and using the rest of his teammates as we get a look at some of those things that he did in that opening half. But Jameer Chaplin actually leading the Mamba with 10 points in the first half. And Damari Monsanto with 9 on the other side. The Stingers, Emmanuel Bandomel and Scotty Lindsay with 9 points apiece. But as we already touched upon, a lot of different contributors to the cause here tonight. Real diversity of inputs from both sides. And really that's going to make for a fun second half. Let's now take a look at the Red Tag Path to the Playoffs update before we get underway in the second half. Here is how the standings shape up right now. And as I can tell you, there's one other game going on here in the Western Conference tonight involving the Bandits and the Calgary Surge in the Stampede City. And at last check, the Surge with a 1-point lead over the Bandits, who they recently beat back-to-back. So Calgary with a chance to secure the season series and keep their fading playoff hopes alive in the West. The Mamba do have the season series after that win on Sunday, but Calgary basically needs to win out. Virtually needs to win. They need to win at least 4 of the remaining 5 games to have any chance at all of making the playoffs. But of course, a battle at the top of the West, and Eric, in the East, it is the Wild Wild East, I guess you could say.
It is the Wild Wild East, Ryan. 2 through 5, it's anybody's game right now. Brampton got off to a really hard start at the beginning of the season, has faded a little bit as the season's gone on, and Niagara had a really slow start and has really built as the season's gone on. But at the end of the day, it's only about how you finish, and this last stretch will be really important for all of those teams.
And of course, Scarborough having secured that top spot, it'll be interesting to see how they handle their final 5 games in terms of who gets used how much. They will be playing tomorrow night, the only game on the slate on Wednesday, as the Shooting Stars will be in Ottawa to take on the Blackjacks. So the Blackjacks will be looking to move into sole possession of second place with that game in the nation's capital on Wednesday. So all kinds of intrigue still to come over the final 2 weeks and a bit. And with the new format, with championship weekend no longer, it has made for some great races down the stretch. And still much to be determined. As we're back underway to begin the third quarter, Ryan Flaherty, Eric Magdans, Katrin Hodson with you from Saskatoon. And a foul right off the hop on Tavian Dunn-Martin as he got contact on Tay Donald. And that is the first of the game on TDM.
Yeah, great first little action there by the Stingers. Gets the Mamba caught a little off guard, thinking they were going a different way with a little misdirection. They go right back at TDM and catch Jaden flat-footed.
Tay Donald at the line, shooting about just shy of 69% on the season. Makes both there. And the Stingers get the first points of the second half. First time this season that these teams have been tied at the half on both sides. Dunn-Martin looking inside for Bediako, and he's going to be called for an offensive foul with a bit of an elbow there on Bandamel.
Yeah, it's tough for those big guys when they get that mismatch. Their elbows just end up being at that guard's height. They got to make sure that they have really good control of their limbs. Fortunately for Jaden there, he just got a little bit too excited when that pass went in. Caught Emmanuel right in the head.
Second of the game on JB. Now Isaac Jack with it, and I did not give him credit. He was actually the leading scorer for Edmonton in that first half, although they've made an adjustment on the stat sheet now as I look at it. Initially had 8 points, but now 11, but he's actually got 8, so just want to get that straight. Bediako working on Jack. Hook shot won't go this time. Good defense there by the Pacific Tiger. Isaac Jack. Hornsby puts it up and in.
And the Stingers, this is the tempo they want to play. They've been able to control the offense, minimize how far they've been able to control, or so far they've been able to control transition. I'm not sure what is happening here.
Yeah, we've had to stop play twice here on this inbounds. And I'm about as confused as you are, Eric. But Matt Fidelik with some clear communication there for Tate Donald. All right, I think third time's the charm. Dunn-Martin up across half. Swings it over far side, extra pass, Bandu. Finds some daylight inside, and he will head to the free throw line.
And the Mamba have done a great job tonight about making that extra pass and then making a great decision on that closeout. They've got a lot of open threes tonight and a great attack right there by Devontae Bandu.
Tay Donald picking up his second foul of the game. And this Western Conference game is presented by Cal Tire. Longtime supporter of the CEBL. Bandu looking over his shoulder at Tavian Dunn-Martin, as Devontae Bandu is the Mamba / Rattlers franchise record holder with 73s in a season, but TDM is 4 back. Scotty Lindsay with his 4th of the game. And the Stingers opening up a 6-point lead to begin this second half. Jameer Chaplin now. Into the corner. Dunn-Martin for 3 off the side of the backboard. And Tavian Dunn-Martin hasn't been able to pick up where he left off in this one. Bandamel gets right to the cup. That matches the Stingers' largest lead of the game. Bandu hoists one up. No. Looked like Bandamel took a bit of a shot there from Devontae Bandu, but the officials weren't biting that time. And now they're going to count that basket for Donald, call it a goaltend.
An 11-1 run here to start this third quarter for the Stingers. It's all about pace of play. They're controlling their defensive end, and that's really causing some challenges here for the Mamba.
That was the second, really the third quarter in that first meeting between these teams where the Stingers were able to impose their will. Starting off the same here. Dunn Martin looking for help, finds Bandu. Slashes inside, kicks it out. Chaplin for three. Rims out. And the rim's not being as kind to the Mamba here in the second half. Lindsay with the entry for Hornsby. Cut off on the baseline. Finds Jack. He's looking for an option. Gonna take it himself. And comes up short.
And there's just a different amount of movement between these two teams right now. A lot of isolation ball for the Mamba and some great team play for the Stingers.
Dunn Martin for Chaplin. Hornsby watching him closely. Chaplin kicks it to Bandu. Trying to shake loose from Bandamel. Tough task to do that. Dunn Martin has to take it, and that's blocked by Donald. And a shot clock violation against Saskatoon. And yes, their offense grinding into the mud here in the third quarter. Give a lot of credit to that Stingers D.
Yeah, they made some great adjustments coming out of halftime. Really getting their hands in those passing lanes and preventing that initial attack that's forcing any defensive rotations to happen.
Emmanuel Bandamel too. I don't know if he gets enough credit as he should, or as much as he should, for his defensive effort. He is such a pesky defender. You saw it there, forcing Bandu to give up the ball.
Yeah, he's a great defender, and the Stingers have a bunch of them. Tay Donald, Boz Davis Jr., they just keep throwing perimeter defenders at you that make your life difficult.
Hornsby scoops it up and in. And Nick Hornsby is leading the charge once again here for Edmonton. We now push that lead to a dozen. Mamba need an answer. Dunn Martin, Nash dribble, hands it off. Bandu for three. Says, you're not going to catch me right away there, TDM.
And that's one of the first possessions where the Mamba have been able to get into the key early in a possession, force a rotation, and that's going to lead to open shots.
Donald swings it out for Lindsay. Hornsby now up top. Gives it to Emmanuel Bandumel, pulling up from distance. No. Bandu can't make it two in a row, but there's Betty Yacko to flush down the putback dunk. Back to a 7-point game now as we hit the midway mark of quarter number 3. Lindsay, bounce pass underneath. Hornsby, no, and Betty Yacko gets the rebound. Dunn Martin, step back three. No, just can't buy one here tonight. Tavian Dunn Martin, in stark contrast to a couple of nights ago. Count that bucket for Tay Donald, and he'll head to the line for a possible 3-point play.
Mamba foul number 2, Jalen Williams, that's his first. Timeout on the floor call.
And that will take us to a timeout on the floor with 4:36 to play in the quarter. And the Stingers leading it by 9. You're watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
Score! Big savings on parking at YEG. Use promo code STINGERS to save 20% on airport parking with Jet Set Parking. Affordable parking just minutes from the terminal. Book online at jetsetparking.com/YEG and use code STINGERS to save. Level up your game. Jet Set Parking has partnered with Edmonton International Airport for their new loyalty program, YEG Plus. Jet Set Parking at YEG Plus, a winning way to start your vacation.
inside the snake pit, just past the midway mark of the third quarter. Hot start to the half by the Edmonton Stingers, but Eric, the Mamba starting to push back a little bit.
Yeah, you got to like how they've adjusted offensively. They got back to being who they are, and that's putting pressure inside the key to create open threes. And when you get those open threes and defenses are in rotation, that leads to offensive rebounding opportunities, which Jaden Bediako has taken advantage of.
As the teams return to the floor, Tay Donald set to attempt the free throw after that and one prior to the break. As we reset the personnel, it's Donald, Trey King, Nick Hornsby, Emmanuel Bandamel, and Boz Davis Jr. out for Edmonton. And for the Mamba, Trey Townsend, Devontae Bandu, Jalen Williams, Jaden Clayton, and Damari Monsanto. Clayton playing with 3 fouls as Donald misses the free throw. It remains a 9-point Edmonton lead. And Monsanto with it. Puts it up from deep, comes up off the front iron. Rebounded by the Stingers. Davis Jr. stolen by Clayton. Racing the other way, hands it off. Jay Will in rhythm, rims out. 3-point shooting not at the usual level tonight for the Mamba, aside from a hot stretch in the first quarter. Hornsby, who's officially on triple-double watch now, lost the handle, but Davis Jr. gets it back, lays it up and in. That won't go as an assist, but Hornsby 4 dimes away from a triple-double now, as he's got 11 points and 11 rebounds. 12 points, 11 rebounds, sorry. And now a turnover. He's going to give Edmonton the ball right back.
And this is a good, different look here again for the Mamba. In the first half, it was their bench that was really important for them. Nearly half their points in the first half came from their bench. That bench mob was really important. Right now, though, it's the defensive end that is the absolute problem here.
Davis Jr. getting lost in coverage that time, and an easy 2 for him. And it's the largest lead of the night, 13 points for Edmonton. Townsend attacks the rim and gets a pair back for the Mamba. But Hornsby right back the other way, blocked by Williams. See if that'll spark Saskatoon. Need to pay it off with a basket now. Monsanto. Step back 3, that will be short, but a foul on the take, and 3 free throws upcoming for Damari Monsanto.
Yeah, not a great possession for the Mamba, even though they end up at the free throw line here. Too much isolation ball, not enough off-ball movement. Kind of get bailed out by the whistle right there.
Come see the new chapter of professional basketball in Saskatoon. Tickets are available by scanning the QR code or by visiting saskatoonmamba.ca/tickets.
I think one of the things that gets overlooked is sometimes it's easier for players to adjust offensively to a new scenario than it is defensively. A guy like Monsanto, he can score the rock. He's done it everywhere he's went. He's been a shooter. He can find those open shots with anybody he plays with. Sometimes it's harder to play defensively in a new situation as you really need to move as 5. Techniques change. And through that, your communication with your teammates, you're still learning their names in some cases. So it's hard to really know those adjustments on the fly.
Emmanuel Bandamel, just the 4th different Stinger to be called for a foul tonight. As Tay Donald, Scotty Lindsay, and Nick Hornsby have 2 apiece, but Stingers nowhere near any sort of foul trouble in this one, as we're under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. And now a 9-point lead for Edmonton.
That's extra odd for the Stingers, as they're the team who fouls the most in the entire league.
Townsend with a rejection. And put on top of that, the Mamba draw more fouls than any other team in the league. But we didn't see that scenario really play out in the first 2 meetings between these 2 teams, and Stingers are minding the whistle well here tonight again. Lindsay short on the 3, and this time it's off of Davis Jr. and out of bounds. Edmonton still shooting it very well here, 56% and 53 from 3 tonight. Kareem Mane back in for Saskatoon, nearly got caught for the walk, but finds Chaplin. with that pirouette and the finish off glass.
That was quite the balance there by Chaplin to be able to catch that spin and still finish it with touch.
Mane guarding Bandumel, a couple of Quebecers going toe-to-toe. Lindsay now outside for Boz Davis Jr. 6 to shoot. Trey King hoists it up and hits. He doesn't take many, but he makes them more often than not. A 40, well, he's cooled off a bit now. 38% on the season is Trey King, but another big triple there for Edmonton. Clayton gives it to Mane. Isaiah Fox imploring his team to move the basketball. And Townsend puts the reverse in.
And Coach Fox has got it right. You can see right there, they get a skip. That skip leads to a closeout and good things happen. They have to move the basketball.
Bandumel, fade away, no. Williams with the rebound. Mamba trying to chip away here, down 8. Just over a minute to go in the quarter. They're in Mane. To Jameer Chaplin as they work the perimeter. Townsend now. Williams can't find a way inside. Pull it back for the 3. No good. And the Mamba just having no success from beyond the arc here in the second half. Davis Jr. and a bit of a late whistle there. But Boz Davis Jr. will shoot free throws.
And you can see the difference in those two possessions right there. You can see the Mamba are trying to get more movements in offense, but nobody could break inside that three-point line. Nobody could put the pressure on the paint. Boz takes it kind of into his own hands there and puts that pressure on the rim right away for the Stingers.
Karim Mane picking up his first foul on the night. As Abdul Mohammed checks back in for Edmonton, taking the spot of Emmanuel Bandumel. Davis Jr. hits almost all of the rim, but doesn't see it drop through.
And 46 seconds left in the quarter here. Look for a 2-for-1 situation here for the Mamba. They're going to want to score in about the first 10 seconds here of the shot clock so that they have a good opportunity or a good second opportunity when it comes around.
Davis makes the second. Stingers lead at 73-64. Clayton running the point. For Saskatoon, trying to get around Boursier. Townsend, extra pass. Williams for 3, no. Mason Boursier with the rebound. On the run for Davis Jr. Great crossover, but couldn't finish. And Chaplin, outlets for Clayton. Numbers for the Mamba. Clayton. And an offensive foul called on Jaden Clayton. That's his 4th foul. As the Mamba had the advantage, but great job by Mohammed to step in and take the charge there.
Yeah, it's one of those tough situations. You obviously want to hold for last possession, but when you have a 3-on-2 break, you want to take the best chance to score, and it's using that advantage right there. Unfortunately, just didn't go in the Mamba's favor.
Dunn Martin and Bediako back onto the floor for Saskatoon. 20 seconds to go, shot clock turned off. Edmonton looking to get their lead back up to double digits. Mohammed, pressured by Chaplin, finds King, and now Boursier. Lindsay, open look for 3, no. And not enough time for a heave. That'll bring it in to the quarter. The Stingers led by as many as 13 and enjoy a 9-point cushion after 3 quarters of play. You're watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
You don't just fuel your body, you fuel your drive. We're not here to preach hustle. We're here for the ones who show up. You know who you are. The moms who make mornings feel like magic. The runners lacing up before the scroll. The dreamers writing it down before it's real. And we're here for you. Real fruit, real fuel. Booster Juice. Fuel for what's next.
Did you know that every CEBL game ends on a game-winning bucket? Yep, every single one. That's because we use something called Target Score Ending, a thrilling twist that keeps fans locked in till the final shot. So what is the Target Score Ending? Here's how it works. The first time the clock stops with 4 minutes or less left in the fourth quarter, the game clock is turned off. We enter target score time. We take the leading team score, add 9 points, and that becomes the target score. Let's say it's 91 to 80. That means the first team to hit 100 wins. No ticking clock, no intentional fouls, just pure clutch basketball. It's fast, it's electric, and it guarantees that every game ends with a bang. Experience the target score ending this CEBL season.
Getting set for fourth quarter action in Saskatoon, but first let us take a look at our cruise of the game presented by Cal Tire. It's Emmanuel Bandumel.
Emmanuel just having a great game so far. He's putting the stats up, both with rebounds, assists, points, doing a little bit of everything, but his best asset might be his what the work he's doing on the defensive end.
Well, the Mamba looking to do something no opponent has been able to do against Edmonton this season. That is come back from a third quarter deficit. The Stingers are a perfect 7-0 this season when leading after 3. But as we've referenced in the past, the Mamba have done a pretty good job coming from behind in games this season. See if they can do it again here tonight. Williams, that's a good start for Saskatoon.
Yeah, much better ball movement on that first possession, getting the ball inside out and sharing it. That's the recipe for success for the Mamba.
Stingers still leading it by 7, but Tavian Dunmartin with his 4th steal then gives it right back, but has some help to keep possession. Dunmartin putting up the lob. And that's deflected out of bounds. They're going to say that Monet got the last touch and not Trey King there. Isaiah Fox, Jamie Campbell up off the Saskatoon bench in protest, but that will fall on deaf ears as we get a look at the replay. I don't know. Bounce pass for Boursier, lays it up and in. Lovely dish there by Trey King. Dunmartin hasn't become uncorked just yet. Can he do it in the 4th? Chaplin with an open 3. Jameer Chaplin checking back in for duty. Cutting the lead to 6. Davis Jr. And just a little nudge there by Tavian Dunmartin. And he steps out of bounds.
Yeah, you gotta love TDM's defense tonight. He's been doing a little bit of everything. He took the challenge right there, got a little body, pushed Boz a little bit closer to that sideline and gets that turnover. Won't go down as a steal, but it should.
Edmonton, your summer plans just got serious. Join us for multiple special edition theme nights throughout the season. Purchase your tickets today at thestingers.ca/tickets. Subs on both sides. Devontae Bandu back in for Saskatoon. Here's Chaplin twisting, turning, and scoring. Nick Hornsby, Isaac Jack also back on the floor for Edmonton as the Mamba have trimmed this gap to 4 early in the 4th. Donald trying to work his way through, lost the handle, deflected out by the Mamba.
You got to love the effort and energy that you can see with the Mamba. A couple offensive possessions have gone their way, and that's translating into defensive energy here.
Saskatoon, 9 of 37, 10 of 38 now from 3 after that Chaplin 3. Just a remarkable contrast to Sunday night. Here's Davis Jr. knocking down a 3, and the Stingers continue to fill it up from beyond the arc, now 9 of 16 on the night. So they've made only 1 fewer, but with about a third the attempts. And the lead back to 7. Dunmartin takes it right to the rack and scores it.
Jameer Chaplin's come alive here in this 4th quarter. Been the guy that's been sort of on the receiving end. As they're getting some ball movement, he's doing a great job of attacking the rim.
Hornsby for Jack. And that's good. And Nick Hornsby now approaching triple-double territory. That's his 8th assist. Needs just 2 more for his 2nd triple-double of the season. Dunmartin on Donald. And now Chaplin again. Splits the defense, gets up, and hard contact there from Jack. who took the worst of it, but he will be called for the foul. In fact, that'll send Chaplin to the line.
And Chaplin's the guy that they need right now. They were really struggling to get any sort of pressure on the paint there in the third quarter. Their ball movement's increased, and it's really been led by Jameer attacking the rim.
As Chaplin looks to improve his totals. Make that 18 points now. 4 of 5 from the free throw line, with 1 more to come.
And we've seen him be a guy that's been a bit of a spark plug at different games throughout this entire season. When the Mamba have needed something, he's been able to come through in clutch moments, especially with his energy.
And he almost single-handedly is bringing up the Mamba's free throw percentage as a team, too. He's been near flawless from the stripe for the last 4 games or so. Makes 2 more there, and it's a 5-point Edmonton lead. Hornsby trying to maintain possession, brings it back outside the arc. Looking for the screen. Vandemel shows it, but carries on through. Hornsby, baseline, looking for Jack, but it's a shot clock violation, and the Mamba defense has now picked up its intensity here in the fourth.
Yeah, they're just building off the energy which Jameer's giving them offensively. Everybody's getting down in stance. Everybody has their hands wide. They're fighting for every single possession.
Just over 2.5 minutes to go until we reach the target score time. Dunmartin driving off the glass and in. First field goal of the game after 6 misses for TDM, and it comes at a big time. It's a 1-possession game.
Something TDM has done so well all season, though, is not force the issue. He continues to find the spots when they need him, where they need him, but a big shot coming back the other way by Scotty Lindsay.
His first 2-point field goal. Scotty Lindsay having his best offensive night against the Mamba this season. The former Saskatchewan Rattler with 14, but there is Tavian Chaplin with the 3. Wrong time for me to look down at my notes, jeepers. But a big triple there, and the hot hand stays hot. Vandemel, Jack slams it down. That is how you answer.
We got a minute coming up here until target time starts. Who can gain some momentum going into it? And it's going to come down to who can get some stops right now.
Bandu, no good on the 3, out of bounds. Who got it last? We're going to say that stays with Saskatoon. I think Nick Hornsby got the last touch on that. He was battling for it, along with Trey Townsend, Jaden Bediako in there. So the Mamba will keep the ball. 14 seconds on the shot clock. In for Jaden Bediako. Handoff, Dunmartin, 3-pointer, no. Jack with the box out, but the ball out of bounds. And another chance here for Saskatoon.
Yeah, they're doing the right things. They're getting the ball in the right guy's hands. These effort and energy plays are going to pay off for the Mamba down the stretch if they can stay consistent with it.
5 minutes on the game clock. Bandu slashing through. Dunmartin for 3, no. Bediako trying to hustle for the rebound, but of course Nick Hornsby goes to the floor and wins it for the Stingers. Who else? Jack coming up a little lame on that loose ball battle, but gets back into the flow. Lindsay inside. Nice little hezzy in midair. Banks it off the glass. Scotty Lindsay has 16.
Yeah, it's one of those tough things in a defensive transition scenario. Scotty Lindsay gets a mismatch with TDM on him and goes straight to the post.
Dunmartin drives and scores. 20 seconds to go until we hit the target score threshold. Hornsby outside Donald draws the contact. And Tay Donald will head to the line. Foul on Tavian Dunmartin.
That's his second.
Trey King back in for Isaac Jack, who looks to be favoring his right hand. Boz Davis Jr. also back in for Scotty Lindsay, and Jalen Williams will replace Trey Townsend on the side of Saskatoon.
Yeah, and a little different look here for the Stingers, where they have 5 guys on the floor right now who can shoot the 3. Jaden Bediako has to guard one of them. Be interested to see if the Stingers want to put him in a ball screen action and see how the Mamba choose to guard it.
Donald just not having much luck at all from the stripe here tonight. Pardon me, now that does make him 2 for 4, so had a couple and makes his third.
He's just such a good shooter, we kind of expect him to make every one.
He is below a season average. That's 3 of 5, so 60% on the night, but makes the second one. 5-point lead, and possibly the last possession before target score for Saskatoon. Williams to his right. King with resistance and a nice change of direction by Williams. And Jordan Baker just wants to stop play right there with Edmonton leading it by 3, and the Mamba starting to creep back. One possession game as we head to target score time here in Saskatoon. Big finish coming up. You're watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
Let's bring it on. It's game time. It's showtime. Oh, and it goes. Nick Hornsby. Here's Oakland for the win. You gotta love a Canadian boost. Two hands. Oh, what a block from behind.
Next bucket wins. Target score time is the best time of a game. The energy, the drama,
that anything can happen. Oh my goodness! Can you believe this guy?
Big players step up in big time. He is cooking.
Target score time is upon us here at Merlis Belsher Place, and after trailing by double digits earlier in the half, the Saskatoon Mamba have got back to within 3, but it is the Edmonton Stingers who have had a lot of different guys contributing to the scoring, and that has made them a very tough opponent tonight for Saskatoon. Scotty Lindsay leading the Stingers with 16 through 3.5 quarters plus.
Yeah, 6 guys in double figures for the Stinger is by committee for them. And that's what they have to stick to in this target time. Sharing the ball, controlling the tempo, making sure that they keep the Mamba out of that transition. And for the Mamba, that third quarter and the first half of that fourth has been all about Jameer Chaplin. Up to 24 points now, he's been the engine.
So 96 the target here tonight. Stingers with the first possession, nearly thrown away. And no deflection there. Edmonton says there was. And now a couple of the officials are going to discuss it. Chris Brischuk, Neil Donnelly, they agree on what they saw there. I have to say that's what I saw as well. It looked like Dunmartin was going for the steal, but didn't actually touch the basketball, so it's a backcourt violation. So the Mamba now with a chance to bite into this 3-point gap. Dunmartin out for Bandu for 3. No. Stingers. Bandumel quickly up the floor. And Devontae Bandu with a little too tight on that defense. He'll be called for a foul. Didn't want to give an easy one up to King, though.
Yeah, not a bad foul at all right there by Bandu. Only the second foul of the quarter. Still a far away from bonus. Get your defense set.
Inbounded for Trey King. Donald for the target score killer, Boz Davis Jr. Trey King from deep. That's good. King's third triple of the game, and it's a 6-point Edmonton lead. They're 6 away from the finish. Dunmartin driving on Donald. Throws it up, but a little bit wild on that take. And back down for Bandumel, who cannot secure the pass. And the Mamba catch a break there. And quietly, in that early stage of the fourth quarter, Eric, Nick Hornsby does have his second triple-double of the season and a very Nick Hornsby-like stat line, 12 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists.
Yeah, he just continues to make impact everywhere on the court.
Williams, step back 3. That looks good, but comes up a bit short. They're going to give that to the Stingers. The Edmonton bench wanted a foul on the play there, but they're just going to say an out-of-bounds play there, as looked like Chaplin got his hand in there and knocked it out of bounds. Hornsby's second triple-double of the season, just the second player in CEBL history with 2 in one season, joining Taze Moore from 2024. And now Chaplin with a steal, racing down the floor, fouled. Or they're just calling it out of bounds here. Looked like a lot of contact there from King.
Yeah, that was a lot of contact that happened right there. I know they're just calling out of bounds, but there was definitely a ton of contact on that play. But I guess it's play on. There's no review, so the call is the call.
Well, those last 2 sequences now the teams can say we're even. Edmonton wanted one at the last trip. They didn't get it. Saskatoon didn't get one there.
I think the probably better answer there is just both coaches are mad, Ryan.
Jameer Chaplin for 3. 27 points now for Chaplin. Mamba back within 3. Edmonton's been able to stay out front all half. Now can they do it at the critical time? Donald blocked by Chaplin. Jameer Chaplin doing it all for Saskatoon. And we've got a timeout called by Jordan Baker. That'll give everyone in the building, including ourselves, a chance to catch our breath here, Eric. Haven't had many opportunities to do that tonight. This has been a fun game for fans, very entertaining, maybe not so fun for coaches, but certainly been a thrilling affair here thus far.
Yeah, I think the Mamba have done a great job of moving the basketball in this target time. Shots haven't fallen, but they got to stick with that. Jordan Baker here has got to be looking for a way to get Nick Hornsby the ball where he can be the decision maker in this offensive play. He's the guy who makes everything else happen. They do a ton of split screens and different actions away from the ball, and they know that when the ball is in his hands, he'll make the right decision.
Well, you want to know where these teams are playing next as they continue to pursue their playoff position. The Stingers will continue their road trip when they travel to the Stampede City to take on Adonis Arms and the Calgary Surge in the 3rd installment of the Battle of Alberta. Tip-off this Friday is at 7:30 p.m. Mountain. Meanwhile, the Mamba continue their homestand when they welcome the Brampton Honey Badgers to Saskatoon for their first and only meeting of the season. Action begins here at MVP Thursday night, 7:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern Time. And we'll yet to determine if the Mamba will have a chance to clinch a playoff spot. They need to win this one first. Bediako getting a hand on the inbound, but King secures it. Stingers leading it by 3, 6 points away from the target score. Donald, deep 3, no good, but there's Hornsby with another board, his 13th. And then he walks, and he knew right away that he committed that violation.
Yeah, tough play. He saw something he liked. His just feet moved a little bit faster than his hands.
A couple quick subs here coming for Edmonton. Isaac Jack, Scotty Lindsay in. Extra length on the defensive end as Donald and King head to the bench. Mamba trying to climb the mountain here with their 5th target score comeback of the season. Dunn Martin for Jalen Williams. Inside, puts it up short. Rebounded by Lindsay. And that strong interior defense continues for Edmonton. Here's Boz Davis Jr. shuffling in the lane, and it rolls home.
And he's been an absolute killer in target time all 3 games. They've got to control him in transition. They can't let him get downhill.
And now a team high 17 points for Boz Davis Jr. 5-point cushion for the Stingers. 4 points from victory. Dunn Martin for 3. No. Bandu was looking for the rebound, and then it bounced off of his heel. And they think they called that a kick ball.
Yeah, it looked a little bit unintentional, but not in the officials' eyes. They call kickball there. A great opportunity here for the Stingers. Still 2 possessions. Important for the Mamba to just lock in. They're only 2 possessions away from being tied up in this game.
Bandamel handling the rock. To his left, pulls up mid-range. That's pure. Emmanuel Bandamel moves the Stingers 2 points away from the target score. And with a 7-point cushion. Dunn Martin now for Williams. Back inside, Bediako. to the cup, but can't finish. Hornsby puts it off the foot of TDM. And at least now the Mamba can set their half-court defense in a must-stop scenario. Townsend will check in to try to aid in the defensive effort. So too will Jaden Clayton with those 4 fouls. Who's coming off, though? It's Mamba have to figure that out.
These are the tough decisions for coaches when you're into this defensive and offensive substitutions. You don't necessarily get that chance to bring your offense back in, so you got to hope your guys can buck up and make a stop for you.
Davis Jr. and an offensive foul on Isaac Jack. And the Mamba get a break. They're going to need a couple more, perhaps, if they're going to come back and win this one. Stingers with a chance to clinch the season series and move to the brink of a playoff clinch as well here. But the Mamba get a reprieve. Dunmartin for Jameer Chaplin. Mr. Everything tonight for Saskatoon. Driving up off the glass, no, but a foul called. Couple free throws upcoming for Jameer Chaplin as Scotty Lindsay is called for his 3rd of the game.
And this is where the gamesmanship comes back and forth. Offensive, defensive subs. You got Jay Will coming to sub back in, likely for TDM, so that they can try to have more switchable defense and less mismatches on the court.
Chaplin makes the first. Jameer Chaplin now at 28 points tonight. 6 of 7 from the line. Trying to inch the Mamba closer. A hush here inside MVP. Chaplin with another. But it's all about defense right now for the Mamba. Stingers with another chance to win it. 2 points away. Davis Jr. Can he do it to the Mamba again? Ball in his hands. Lost it. Taken away by Clayton. Down the floor, Jaden Clayton. No. Bandamel trying to secure it. A battle for the loose ball. Chaplin getting fired up. And now let's sort this out. Isaac Jack was on Chaplin's back. He didn't like it. Intensity at a high degree here in the dying moments. And how's this one going to shake down? It'll be Stingers basketball on the tie-up.
Yeah, you got to love the guys are competing right to the end there, fighting for those loose balls, trying to defend their teammates and get in on it as well.
I also like no foul being called there. The officials letting them sort it out there. So Edmonton again. Davis Jr. This time gives it to Hornsby. Williams on his back. Back over to Boz. 8 to shoot. Pulls it back out. One-on-one with Chaplin. Gets a step. Inside. No. Clayton the rebound. Up for Townsend. Hands it off for Jay Will. Slashing inside. Kick out. Chaplin for 3. No. And Hornsby with another rebound. Stingers have been great on the defensive glass tonight. Bandamel inside. Hoisted up. No good. There's Chaplin to the loose ball. Clayton now has Williams with him. Drop off, gets it back. Step back 3. Clayton, no. And the Mamba going cold offensively at the worst possible time. And the Mamba with another chance with the ball in their hands to win this game. The captain leading the way. Hornsby drives, kicks. Davis Jr. cut off and a foul. Clayton will be done. That's his 5th. Doing everything in his power to prevent the Stingers from securing the victory.
And the Mamba are super fortunate here that the officials choose to call that on the pass rather than the shot. So it's going to be a Stingers ball on the side rather than 2 free throws for the win.
Third team foul on the Mamba, so they can still have one to give, so to speak. Of course, you have to be so careful it's not on a shot attempt. Inbound for Jack, right back to Boz. And now Lindsay for three, and the win, no. Off of Hornsby and out of bounds. The Mamba are getting all kinds of extra opportunities. And now Isaiah Fox wants to talk things over. They've had so many chances. The Mamba could have won this game by now. They're getting the stops, but they're just unable to get clutch baskets here in the last few possessions.
Yeah, it's been a real game of momentum tonight for the Mamba. They've had periods of time where they've just been absolutely able to fill it up, and then other times where they've gone really cold. And this is one of the struggles for the Stingers. They do it by committee, but when you need that one basket at the end of the game, they also don't have that guy that you just look to every single time to do that.
Well, perhaps Scotty Lindsay will have it. He couldn't quite get it on his last attempt, but he's had 4 threes tonight. He's also got 6 target score winners in his CEBL career. One of those coming this season. So perhaps he'll be the guy, but you're right. And you can see the Mamba defensively, they have no interest in letting Boz Davis Jr. beat them again. They have been right in his lap every time he has the ball in the half court. But the Stingers also, it's this other side of that coin, who can take it, but also who do you defend if you're the Mamba? Because any of those guys could be the guy to win it for Edmonton.
Yeah, and I'm sure Jordan Baker in that time out there was just talking a little bit about their spacing. The lane has been quite clogged because too many Stingers players are not spacing the floor. I bet in this next possession, expect a little bit more space available for an attack to the rim.
How about 15 rebounds tonight for Nick Hornsby? Chaplin out of the timeout, off the glass and in. 31 points for Jameer Chaplin. And now a timeout called by Jordan Baker. He wants the perfect play to win this ball game.
Yeah, and the perfect play, that's the interesting thing about target time, is sometimes the perfect play is just trying to take advantage of the other team's mistakes, whether that be a missed switch, a missed defensive communication, or being able to just know which guy's going to help just a little bit too much and open a kick out for somebody else on your team.
Well, Jameer Chaplin kind of putting the Mamba on his back here in the fourth quarter. He is having a sensational game. 31 points now to go along with 3 rebounds and an assist. It is the scoring that he's done. He's also got a blocked shot, as we just saw there, although as I look at the stat sheet, he isn't credited for that block. Have to get that cleaned up, but what a game, what a performance here by Jameer Chaplin, trying to will the Mamba to a victory.
Yeah, he's been the spark plug this entire second half, trying to, as you said, will this team to victory, doing everything, blocking shots, defensive rotations, and attacking the rim with such force. It's forced the Stingers to have to change how they're guarding and taking some of that pressure off of TDM here in the second half.
So here come the Stingers once again, another chance to win it. Out of the timeout this time. Here's Hornsby. Jack up high. Bediako on him. Lindsay on the switch, puts it up. Short. Williams gets the rebound. Mamba can tie it with a 3. Bandu back into the game for Saskatoon. He finds Chaplin driving to the glass. This time, no. And Davis on the run. Right down the lane, puts it up. No, rolls off the rim. Bandu back the other way, gonna settle things down here for Saskatoon. Oh my goodness, the drama here in the Bridge City. Bandu for 3, ties it at 94. Next field goal will win it. Hornsby now. Stingers trying to somehow get this one done. Bandamel can't get around Bandu. Goes the other way. Lost the basketball. Finds Jack. Isaac Jack. No! And now the Mamba with a chance to win it. Jalen Williams to Trey Townsend. Fouled! Listen to this building, Eric. Merlis Belsher Place is alive.
And this is what we've been talking about. It's not so much about making the perfect play, but take advantage of the plays that the mistakes that the other team's making. Missed shot there by the Stingers, a little bit slow in getting back in transition, and that's leading for a great opportunity here for Trey Townsend to win the game with 2 made free throws.
Townsend won the very first game in this building this season. Makes the first. The Arizona Wildcat looking to complete the comeback. He does it! Trey Townsend wins it again for the Mamba. A thrilling comeback in target score time. The Mamba on the brink of a playoff spot. What a finish here in Saskatoon.
Just a full team effort tonight, led by Jameer Chaplin's energy effort, his ability to fill up the stat sheet, but so many little plays by different guys. DeAndre Bernard has a great first shift. Junante Bandu hits some big shots down the stretch. Even Demario Monsanto coming in here, making huge threes in the first half. Little efforts that bring the Mamba through for a big victory.
If the rest of the CEBL didn't know it by now, they should be well aware that you can never count this Mamba team out. That is their 5th, count it, 5th target score time comeback this season. They've been behind more than they would like in these scenarios, but they are never out of a game, and they do it again. I lost track of how many possessions the Stingers had in that victory, and it's a total team effort for our Booster Juice Player of the Game interview. Katrin Hodgson's going to have to let us know who is our Booster Juice Player of the Game. She's standing by with the entire Mamba crew.
Thanks, Ryan. I can barely hear you. Our player of the game is Jameer Chaplin. We, of course, have Trey Townsend as well, who sunk the free throws to win the game. All right, Jameer. How do you feel right now? That was a wild, wild game.
Yeah, it was a wild one. We got it through, came back in the target time, and finished, got the job done.
All right, Trey, you sunk those 2 free throws. How did you feel when that foul happened?
You know, I was just proud of us. We battled, came back 7 points straight, getting stops. Jay Will saw me on the run out. It's what we practice every day, and, you know, I was happy they went in.
Did you feel that pressure?
You know, it's what you dream of. You always want to make game-winning free throws in this, or game-winning shots in this league. You can make game-winning free throws, so I'm happy that it happened.
All right, Jameer, what made the difference tonight for your team, do you think?
I think it was defense. We shut them down. We had them. It was in our paint the first half. In the second half, we just heard them. We just like we just had to shut it down. Shut it down.
All right, that was a wild game, an incredible defensive run. Congratulations to you both and to the rest of the team. Back to you, Ryan. One step closer for the Saskatoon Mamba to clinching that playoff spot.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Katrin. What a wild finish. We've seen some exciting target score comebacks here, but that might top them all, Eric, because of how close the Stingers were for how many possessions they had, sitting at 94 points. Like, I think they had about 8 possessions.
Well, Boz Davis Jr. had a layup that I think touched every single part of the rim, and I was almost ready to say it was in the basket and before it popped out. So many different opportunities, and huge credit to the Mamba. They just kept fighting. Even early in target time, they had a number of possessions that just did not go their way. Great possessions where shots did not fall, but they continued to battle the whole way through.
Well, we're going to catch our breath and come back and tie a bow on this one. There's a lot to talk about, but first we'll step aside. You're watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
What keeps me going? Under the heat of the sun or in the heat of the moment. When climbing for even one more second seems like too much. Whether you're reaching for your goal or busy setting new ones, everyone hits their limit, but that limit has a reset. Scientifically formulated to hydrate faster in the moments that matter. Electrolyte, instant hydration.
All right, sticks in the middle.
Can I join you guys? All right, let's go.
Whether it's on the ice or on our app, always play for the fun of the game. Gamble responsibly with Play Alberta.
At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around with free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
The CEBL, Canada's Pro Basketball League, and redtag.ca brings Canadian basketball fans a chance to save up to $300 off on vacation bookings all season long with promo code CEBLFans. I wonder how our mascots would spend their time on vacation. Book today with Red Tag and save $300.
redtag.ca.
Back to wrap inside Merlis Belsher Place after yet another target score comeback by the Saskatoon Mamba, their 5th of the year, also their 5th home win of the season. And as we try to summarize a game that had so many twists and turns in, Eric, I think we have to start with the Mamba defense, especially in those final handful of possessions in target score time, as they had to stop Edmonton every time they had the ball, and they did.
Yeah, it's been something that we've been hoping that they've been able to turn on all season. They've got the length, they've got the athletes to be able to do it, and they sort of found that will behind Jameer Chaplin's energy and effort. He was sort of the catalyst to get them going. You could just see them feeding off of his energy.
Just a single game on the CEBL slate tomorrow. It is the final regular season home game from our nation's capital as the Ottawa Blackjacks welcome their rivals, the Scarborough Shooting Stars, to the arena at TD Place for what could be a playoff preview. Tip-off at 7:30 Eastern. And speaking of those looming CEBL playoffs, Eric, the Mamba, big win tonight also moves them one win away from clinching a playoff spot of their own, which they can do here in 2 nights' time against the Brampton Honey Badgers. So a lot of boxes checked tonight for the Mamba, but Jameer Chaplin, we have to go back to him as well because he was absolutely sensational tonight, especially in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he just had a major impact, even bigger than what his box score was. 31 points is a lot, but it was all about turning the tide. When it looked like the Stingers were really going to pull away, he just kept willing them back and never let the Mamba die with his defensive effort, fighting over screens, getting a block shot, and then attacking the rim.
As for the Stingers, they're still in a pretty good position when it comes to booking their spot in the postseason, but they've still got the Calgary Surge in their rear view and a big home and home against the Surge next on their schedule. So Calgary, who just defeated Vancouver tonight for their 6th win of the season, is now 2 wins back of Edmonton with those 2 head-to-head matchups. So what do you think's going through the Stingers' minds as they look ahead to those 2 games?
Big games for both those teams, obviously. This is going to be a disappointing one for the Stingers. They played for 38 minutes tonight. They played a great game. They just couldn't finish it out for that final little bit that they needed. But now they see Calgary in their rearview mirror, and they're getting closer.
Spoiling a triple-double of very impressive. Well, any triple-double is impressive, but Nick Hornsby was terrific again. 12 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists, 6 Stingers in double figures. But it is Jameer Chaplin with his 31 leading the Mamba to victory. And Trey Townsend, who had just 9 free throw attempts all season coming into tonight and made 6 of them, hits 2 of 2 from the line to secure the victory. His 2nd target score winner of the season, both coming here in this building. We'll be back with you Thursday night when the Brampton Honey Badgers come to town to take on the Mamba as Saskatoon looks to secure its spot in the playoffs. And of course, the Stingers back in action on Friday when they head to Calgary to take on the Surge. On behalf of Katrin Hodgson and Eric Magnans, I'm Ryan Flaherty. Thank you so much for watching as we bid you good night from Saskatoon.